guys from Android, Martin and Petr, will speak about recent stuff regarding Android TV and what they improved.
Especially for Mirek. He's our #1 fan and user. So welcome back after the break. Let's move on with the presentations. This time, as Mirek mentioned, about the story of our Android TV application, how we get where we started 3 years back and what we did over the last 3 years with it. So I'm Martin. I'm leading the mobile team here at Showmax. And over here is Peter, our lead Android TV engineer and currently even like lead Android developer for the team. So shortly, the agenda for today would be mostly about the Android TV, obviously. So first of all, we'll show the history, what we did over the last 3 years, which helped us to come to the new Compose components, Jetpack Compose components for Android TV that were recently introduced by Google. And thanks to that, thanks to the collaboration with Google, we had some early access program for testing and improving this. We'll share some of the insights and how it went with Google and what were the outcomes for us from Google I/O. So, short history of Android TV application. I would maybe ask how many of you know Android TV or used it? It's quite fine, fair share of the base here. Thank you. So, leanback library, which is lean back. Most of you are leaning your backs against sofas or some other chairs. It's like a special library for TV applications on Android. This was introduced in 2014, and Showmax started in 2015. Showmax as a video platform or video on-demand service needs to, obviously, like people want to use, if they are able to, they like to watch movies and series on big screen like TV. So we definitely needed to support this platform, and back in 2015-16 we started implementing leanback application as well. It's 2023, and back in 2015 it was pretty new and pretty to the standards. It was pretty okay. However, it had a lot of constraints. Like the library was easy to use. The technology meanwhile got outdated. And when we wanted to introduce something new to the platform, new features or some redesigns, it was pretty tough. And also, as I mentioned, I'm leading the mobile team, and previously it was also a mobile team, so it was mostly about mobile apps. And forgot to send the slides. So we've been mobile team, and African markets are mostly mobile first. It's unlike Western countries, it's very heavily oriented towards mobile usage. So the focus was on mobile. We were mobile team with mobile designer. And imagine like this is your mobile, you use it on the go, or you wait for someone in the park so you can watch something. You usually use it like this and watch like this. On the TV, it's a different way. So especially for designers, this was really tricky, and product managers as well, because the use cases are different and the screen is completely different. Like designing mobile first is a very good approach. However, if like the TV application is like a second thought, it's not the best. For us, it was really about trying to keep up with the features, but not trying to make it as cheap as possible because of the restrictions of the platform. Last thing about this was that it's like many of you know it, but a lot of hands didn't raise. So it's an unknown platform, and as such, it's basically twofold. Like the bad part of unknown platform is it's hard to sell it, and if you need to support or you want to improve it, many people are like, what's that? I've never heard of that. Is anyone using it? And yes, there are customers on that. On the other hand, it allows you for a lot of flexibility and freedom. You can, since people kind of not care that much, it's not like your CTO or someone in the upper management wakes up and sees something broken or changed or I would like this button or this feature. That's not happening on the Android TV that much. So it's a good playground for engineers or for anyone. Excuse me. So that allowed us for a lot of engineering freedom and doing a lot of experiments, tests, and A/B testing and playing with new features that were not possible on mobile. You don't want to break your main platform, obviously, because it's Germanica. Of course, with the freedom comes the responsibility, so you don't want to break your second platform either, but it's less damage than on the mobile. So this is how it looked 3 years back. I don't see Mirek here. Our avid user, he famously quoted when we started to redesign one of the first demos, everyone was kind of surprised at how it looks. And Mirek famously claimed that Android TV users are just used to suffer visually and performance sometimes as well. So this was basically our starting point. You can see the layout is pretty basic. It's all library elements. And for us, when you see that and when we were discussing what are the main issues, it was about the engagement and content discoverability. The posters are library. You cannot change much. So if you wanted to add more detail, it was tricky. If you wanted to change sizes, it was tricky as well. And one of the other things we wanted to improve was the onboarding flow. Android TV, or TVs in general, are tough to onboard. You don't have browser. It's difficult to type in email and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the asset detail, also very, very simple, not easily changeable. Again, the focus was on engagement and discoverability, which was very hard to get out of the library. So I would start with why not to start a new platform. What do you see as a concern when you would like to start supporting a new platform? Anyone? For me, it's mostly about the extra code. As I mentioned, the layouts are different on the mobile and on the TV. The use cases are different. So you even if it's the same code base, that's how it usually starts. It's the same Android, so you can do both mobiles and TVs. But it's different layouts, different approaches. So you get extra code. With extra code, you need extra people. When you get extra people, they want to work and they demand more features and stuff. So they need even more people, like product manager, designer. You need analytics to investigate, user research. And that again comes to more developers. Because when you get a product manager, he wants a team and he wants to deliver quickly. So that's why you should consider really carefully whether you want to start a new platform. This is a snippet from one dated ticket when Smart TV introduced the ported solution that unified website and various Smart TV platforms. It was a great success, and there was a great idea. Let's do it for the Android TV as well. Everything makes sense, like unified lean-back experience. You don't need to think twice the same features. You don't need to implement those multiple times. And mobile team could focus on the major platform. It was mobile. A funny thing is that Showmax has a sister company, DSTV, which is Showmax is a VOD service first, with some addition of live streaming of sports, news, music channels, and DSTV is basically linear television with some VOD catalog. In the end, it's two applications that stream content, video content. And our CTO was overheading both these apps. And on the DSTV end, they decided to port the JavaScript application on the Android TV. We decided to keep it natively. So the CTO came to me, hey, how come one team lead tells me one thing, the other team lead tells me the other thing? For us, the main reasons were the team capacities. Our Smart TV team didn't have much capacities back then to support porting of this. We knew it will not happen within half year to a year. The other thing was the technical readiness. For example, the STV application was done very simple, like a lightweight client that was like lightweight, no fancy stuff, while our application was quite fancy and good looking, and it was not very good for low performing Android boxes. Last thing why we decided to keep it native was the market share, because we knew or we expected that the market share will increase for Android TV. We have in South Africa, or generally in Africa, Showmax is a known brand, and we have partnerships with telecommunications, with various vendors and manufacturers of the devices, and they want to use the application like pre-installed, and then like this significantly increases your coverage of the market. So then it's only about executing and kind of getting the users to start using it and keep them. So all this decided, like we had some initial research of the market shares of TVs in Africa when we were kicking this off. The very first 4 are for smart TVs, which were the most used. However, you see most of the rest of the market was Android TV. So this kind of helped us sell the idea, but it was not like that easy at the beginning. How we actually did it. So first of all, was like taking pride in what we do. We started actually from the development team. We didn't like how the application looked. You saw the screenshot. It was nothing to show off to your friends or anyone. It was dated. It was working okay, but it was like we do support Android televisions. Nothing fancy, but we do it. So we kind of stepped up. We wanted to make it better, and like basically, your CTO or your product manager won't tell you, hey, you need to improve your application because of something. It's your platform, you know what it can do, what it should do. So you should try and like come up with the solutions on your own. Also, like don't overthink or overdo that at the beginning. Start low, start easy. What we did, we sat down as a whole team. We all used the application, so we simply looked what were the main flaws, what we didn't like, what we wanted to improve, wrote it down, and then basically triaged. Is it easy? Is it difficult? Let's do the easy things. And most importantly, let's do the things that don't need any external support or like external contribution. You don't need a designer, you don't need a product manager. You don't want to change the API. Simply like things that we can do in our own pace. In Android, or generally in Showmax, we try to keep some capacity for the technical tracks. And for us, I always try to kind of dedicate 30% of our team capacity to basically fighting technical debt or preventing it. So we decided to invest this capacity to improve the platform. It took us 1 quarter, and we basically cleared all these kind of low-hanging fruit that we knew. This is obviously broken, this is doable, let's do it. And or we looked at other platforms, smart TV website, when they resolved some issue. We just kind of learned from them and adopted on our platform if it was doable. So that was the very first quarter. It was quite successful. What I would suggest, and what we forgot at the very beginning, was to kind of keep track of your progress and measure everything. As the platform was very dated, we have our own analytics framework in Showmax. However, it was not very well covered in the original Android TV application. And when we did the first improvements, we did not really compare the performance of the old versus the new. So if we had this number, it would be even like the improvements would be even more fancier, and it would be easier to sell it later on. However, and of course you want to make sure you didn't break anything. So keep the tracking, try to set your KPIs or some objectives. That's definitely a good thing. So after this very initial phase, this was kind of internal kickoff. And after persuading the stakeholders, as I mentioned, we had to it was kind of devil advocacy from all places, and it was really good. They were kind of trying us if we are really aware of what it takes to have a new platform supported. We thought we knew. I think we didn't. It was quite challenging later on. However, we persuaded the management and stakeholders that we will go native, and we got a green light and some initial support. We got a new designer, like dedicated designer, dedicated some time of one of the PMs. And yeah, I tried as a team lead to cover like half of it by my own, and we decided basically added one person to take care of Android TV, like mostly, which was Peter back then. Later on, we added a data analyst. When we added like all the tracking, the data analyst helped us tremendously with kind of triaging what's important, what's not, what's working, what needs improvements. This second phase was mostly like up to a year. It was like 3 to 4 quarters. This kind of intermediate phase, and it was like very first quarter was mostly follow-ups, and during that first quarter we did a very intensive research of the platform and how to improve it. What we did, basically product mapping, which was taking all the screens, finding what's wrong, what needs improvement. It's blurred, but you don't need the detail. It's mostly the colored columns are input from product designers, user researchers, engineers, product managers, from user reviews or user feedback and user interviews. And the very last is basically action items, the interpretations of the findings. We took those findings, did some affinity mapping, found out what are the main concerns on which screens and what to tackle. And this was more like high level, which we then broke down into respective tasks, and we did a simple prioritization matrix. For that, nothing fancy. You just need like a dedicated product trio, which would be a technical guy, product manager or team lead, and a designer. And simple t-shirt sizes, is like two levels. One is the technical feasibility, and the other one is like the user or product impact. Compare those two values, create simple metrics. Is it like easy, mid-size, big? What's the impact? Is it low, big, or not? And obviously you tackle the easy wins that are cheap and make the biggest impact. That's what we started with. But the other ones, the high impact, high complexity, those were hard to achieve with limited support. So that's when the second phase came in. So after we hit this limit of basically team capacity and team support, we had to hire another, we decided to hire a dedicated product manager. So previously there was one product manager for mobile, and he was covering partially even the TV applications under under command of the mobile teams. So we got a new dedicated PM. We decided later on that we need a platform lead, since I couldn't really cover 2 platforms. So one of the engineers stepped up to become a technical lead for the Android TV. Then we got basically a tech lead, which Peter became over that year, and we later on hired 3 more people to the team. And again, as I said, 30% of the capacity we dedicated to tech stack. Now we had 3 main tracks. So we were 30% on mobile, 30% on TV, and 30% we still kept on the technical improvements. And of course, with those 3 tracks, you need to adjust the process. That was pretty tricky as well. You have now we had multiple PMs, multiple tracks, and we needed to align. There was obviously company features and other teams' requests, so it got a bit more complicated. However, the outcomes. This is the application how it looks now. It's definitely a lovable application. It's loved by customers. We have the customer satisfaction all-time high at the moment, the scores. We really like the application. We are proud of that. It looks modern. It looks nice. It uses modern tech stack. And Android application is basically we can say it's most loved video application in Africa. It has the highest rating in app stores. And basically what we managed to do in 3 years was to create, transform the application that was lagging behind all the internally supported Showmax applications, which had only basic support of all the features, to a leading edge platform. Thanks to the complete overhaul and the liberty we had, as we were basically starting from scratch and doing everything based on data, we could experiment way more than when you just iteratively improve. So, for example, we introduced a new top-level navigation, which was later adopted to other platforms. We introduced various logics for like who's watching and content discoverability, how the posters look, and various filters and stuff like that. So basically, from barely catching up with the features, or like having just the basic support of new features that Showmax introduced, we became like the leading platform. The other thing was the market share. When we started 3 years back, Android TV was the 7th most used platform by our customers. Today it's 2nd or 3rd based on the weather, actually. Yeah. Yes, when the weather is bad, people watch more. It's quite obvious, but not always not always realize that. So yeah, like we become like a leading platform, one of the leading platforms. Obviously, there is this kind of chicken egg thing problem. Yeah, the market grew, COVID was there, but yeah, like we kind of anticipated that with all the partnerships and all the shifts. Like Android TV is a cheap box, so as Michal was mentioning previously, people don't buy new TVs all that often. But you have a very cheap box, kind of external brain to your old TV that makes it smart. So we knew this was coming, and luckily we kind of hit it at a good time. And the other good thing was that we set the very good metrics at the beginning. As I mentioned previously, we were looking for engagement, we were looking for content discoverability, and improving the onboarding. And all these three, these were at the time even like a Showmax-wide key metrics, and that helped us basically go in the right direction. And Android TV was fastest growing platform, like customer-wise, 2 years in a row. Yeah, and opportunities, that's the best thing of it. As I mentioned, we got new platform tech lead, who later became a team leader, regular team leader. We have new engineering team lead, like a regular currently a tech lead of the team. We hired 3 new people. We hired new product manager, new data analyst, new designer. That's like people-wise. Product-wise, it's also great. As I mentioned, we kind of breaking the barriers, experimenting, introducing new features or different approaches to the features, which wouldn't be possible on your major platform because you don't really want to experiment on the majority of your market. And last but not least, obviously, it's the technical improvements, which Peter will discuss later on. We use this platform and the rewrite to introduce Jetpack Compose, which we've been a bit afraid to use on mobiles, again, to not disrupt the experience of our users. However, on TV, we were, as the user base back then, a few years back, was not that big, we were not afraid to test it. And yeah, that set up us for when Google invited us to early access program with their Compose components, we were basically ready. And we said, okay, like we already implemented, Peter already implemented most of those on his own. However, okay, let's show us the library and see what it's got. And that will be the next talk. And yeah, the cooperation was successful. We've been invited to Google I/O again later on. So just a reminder, this is how it looked like. This is the look these days. This is the asset detail. Here I would maybe mention design system. Android team was actually the quickest as well as the slowest team to adopt the design system in Showmax. Which is funny, but on mobile application we did not really need it, or we didn't really see the added value to it because it was already kind of tidy, and like we were happy with the state of it. However, since we've been like reworking from scratch the Android TV, we were very happy to adopt it there. and it helps significantly with the speed and simplicity and kind of unifying everything. So I would definitely recommend having some supporting structures when you want to go like for these big adventures. Really, make your data pipelines work and have these supporting things around so that you don't get lost like on the way and you see what's coming. As I mentioned, we've been featured as partners with Google for the new TV components, and that's basically it. Like the takeaways from here, definitely like do care for what you do. That's crucial, and you should. I assume you want to be proud, and if you are not, go and make it work. And and try to come with solutions. That's always easier than coming with problems. Like you can identify a problem, but if you cannot fix it, it's just a burden for someone else. So that's as I mentioned, try to find things which you can fix on your own. Go show off. Hey, we did this, that. Now we need your help. That's way easier than just going, hey, we need help. And lastly, it's about aligning. Less friction is if you help with some real problem at hand. So as we were basically closely mapping the key metrics that the company had, it was way easier to work on those features. If we had like, I don't know, we have some project and we want to do some other project, it would be really tough to sell it. This way we've been basically coordinating our actions with the Walsh Max, and that really helped it. And that's basically it. So let's drink our own champagne and make sure it's good. Cheers, everyone. Any questions? Just a second.
Okay, just maybe a curious question. How many times have you seen the opening of Big Bug Bunny while developing the application?
It's about, we don't need to see it that often. It's for other teams that are basically there. Yeah. We have a media engineering team that's very fond of Big Bug Bunny.
I see. Another question, have you implemented voice command for Android TV?
We use the library ones, or just like not really. Like there is just for search, and like you can input into search like what you want to search for.
And another question, did you ever try it in different language, in that English like French?
There were requests for that. Back then we did Polish when we were in Poland for a couple of years. And there were requests for other languages, yet it was not that significant for us, at least till now. In Poland, we definitely need it, but in Africa, or at least like we are mostly in South Africa, and South Africa has 11 or 13 official languages, not sure. And so everyone is used to at least 2, and one of those 2 is English. So we kind of start from there. There were for Angola or Mauritius or other countries, they were like, "Hey, we would like to have French," and we were like numbers-wise, it didn't really fly. So we were kind of postponing that. It was not that big on our list.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I would rather start from kudos. It's actually a very cool case, cool success case, because initiation started from the engineering team. It was actually surprising and not that common situation, to be honest. Really good job. If you can go one slide back, I think the takeaways, the second one should be the first one. Look for opportunities and take action. But my question actually about how did you sell it actually? What was the initial step? What numbers did you get to provide some base that we need to adjust the team? We need to go in that direction. Because I saw there is a usage on Android TV, but usually it's not enough to have only one metric to approve that at least POC makes sense, make all the effort you're gonna put there. Thanks.
Thanks. Nice question. One very interesting thing for Android TV was that the Android TV users were one of the most engaged. When they watched a lot. We knew that. And we also knew that through that partnerships with telcos or basically vendors and manufacturers of devices, that we have like a big reach, but the conversion was not that great. And so you open the app and it was like nothing really fancy. Okay, I'll never open it again. So we knew like these are kind of we knew the market should grow, which did, and we knew that the conversions could be better if we just slightly helped with the onboarding and keeping the users there. And that's basically what we did really initially. It was that we leveraged the Android TV home screen for recommendations, and there's like a continue watching or play next when you start watching something. So your shows will start appearing there. We integrated it the search. So when you were searching for something, it would show up like, hey, you can watch it on Showmax and stuff like that. So that was for like discoverability and of the content. And then we improved the onboarding for signing and sign up. We added some navigation, like how if you want to watch, what to do and where to go. And this really helped. How we saw one thing that how we saw we started this initiative right after one big project finished, and we had some free time. And that snippet I showed you, that was there for I think over a year, and it was always postponed by a quarter or two. Once Smart TV team will have time, we'll do that. However, they've been back then overloaded by other mostly marketing and other product initiatives, and we knew that at least another half a year to a year it will not happen. So we were like, okay, start low and try. Let's see the impact, and if it works, and they still won't have time, we'll move on. Those were mostly, and the performance. Performance was a strong one. Obviously, we knew the performance is there, and we knew that Smart TV won't have time to optimize the JavaScript or simplify it for our use case. It's working on even worse smart TVs. However, payback from Michal, I see. So basically, the thing was that we needed to kind of make it more simple, the UI. And we knew that they won't have capacity for at least 2 or 3 quarters. So we were like, okay, let's do what we can meanwhile. And thanks for the kudos. Really, we've been complaining about the state of the Android TV for a long time. And we were like, hey, let's do something with that. But we never as I mentioned, we were coming with a problem. And then we were like, okay, we can solve a lot of those problems without any help from the outside. And that's how we started it. It really came from the engineering from my team. Michal?
I just wanted to say, big kudos. We tried to took them over, but it just wasn't feasible. When I mentioned that there was just 8 developers and 4 testers, this grew over time. But when they started, I think there was just 5 devs and 2 testers or something like that. So yeah, it was quite a time ago, and we still covered the same number of devices. So it was let's say, I don't know, 12 platforms or something like that for 5 developers and 2 testers.
Yeah, there was a big plan to JavaScript for everyone on each platform. One to rule them.
Thanks for the talk. I'm curious, how would you say Android TV is a stable platform, or I believe it's probably there's less variety compared to smart TVs, obviously. So do you have, say, some war stories debugging or dealing with issues with some particular manufacturers or devices? I see. Thank you.
Not sure if I should take it online or whether offline. We with the partnerships, the partners are great. As I mentioned, the partnerships really help the case. A few years back, we had partnership with one of the we had Android on Android mobile. We had Showmax pre-installed, and it became the second most used device, even though you would look at the device and you would wonder why anyone would want to watch videos on that. So it's really a strong case, and we have a lot of partnerships. We've been one of the first to be on the Huawei App Gallery market, and yeah, as I mentioned, we are not present on the Czech market or on the European market, but back down in Africa, it's really like big thing. And this they try hard. For them, it's added value. Telcos want to buy our just like here, buy our plan. You will get free data on Showmax or something like that, or you can have it added to the bill or stuff like that. So they try, and obviously they send us devices. We try it, and we say okay, it's not working. So we investigate with them. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes time. And sometimes they come with some non-certified device and wonder why it's not working. It's the same with the customers. They buy some cheap device and then they're complaining it's black and let's fix it. And like, we would like to the legal reasons don't allow us.
Anyone else?
So let's move on. Okay, so thanks for your attention. Hope you liked it. And maybe one. Yeah, I have one here from Google that's like VR Play European edition. If anyone wants to see, it's like a showcase of European applications across all the European countries. I'll let it go around. It's kind of interesting thing. So let's move on with another session that will be Peter's, more technical on the new TV Compose components. Maybe have a...
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have a short refreshment break and we'll set it up.